Welcome to PAO Fans International. You're joined by Panathafan and myself. Nick will be joining us shortly. He's just attending other things. Welcome, Panathafan.
Sturge, good to be back after a bit of a break. It's a shame that we're back in these circumstances, though, but it's good to be talking about our beloved club nonetheless.
Yeah, we had the international break. We had the last podcast. We'd hoped that we'd come back to better circumstances, but obviously there's more questions, more doubts, and obviously a lot more anger, especially at the performance and the results in especially the football side. Let's
Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's kick things off. So we start off with the football side. Panathinaikos, Olympiacos away in the derby. Match day 1 of 6 in the playoffs. We went down 4-2. Olympiacos opened the scoring in the first minute. Yep, that's correct. The first minute, courtesy of a back pass to Dragowski. He's just holding the ball and their striker Yaremchuk just deflected it into the net. Then they doubled their lead in the 16th minute. It was a high ball. It was a pretty weak clearance from Yedvay, but still, Chiquinho got the ball. He dribbled like absolutely with ease past Aral and just buried it. Mladenovic half the lead, made it 2-1. He was at the back post inside the box, unmarked, and he just unleashed the shot, just rocket right into the top left, um, the keeper's top left corner. No chance that could have gone anywhere, that shot, knowing Mladenovic, but he does have a knack for scoring lately, and that was an absolute rocket. Um, Gave us a bit of a lifeline. Uh, then Olympiacos took or doubled again, or tripled this time, 3-1 in the 51st minute, courtesy of I believe it was from a corner or some sort, where they whipped the ball in. Yaremchuk just headed it, came off his shoulder, went in. We won a penalty courtesy of Unahi, took a dribble inside the box. Danny Garcia, I believe, was the man to bring him down. Foti stepped up, coolly slotted it, and then there was a little bit of a scuffle, mainly between uh, that dickhead Rodinei and Foti. Foti trying to get the ball. And then the final dagger came from Olympiacos. That was the free kick again, set piece, ball whipped in, and he got a touch to it, flicked it on into the goal. That was in the 82nd minute, and then 40 let emotions run wild and got himself sent off. Just making a last man tackle, taking out Gostulas, and then yeah. How did you see the match?
Yeah, it was disappointing to concede four against Olympiacos, our biggest rival. Very disappointing, and I think the fans have made that disappointment very clear on social media since the game. Um, for me, there's a lot of talking points as to what went wrong. There's question marks about the formation we adopted. There's question marks about the starting 11 that went with that formation. There's question marks about the choices of substitutions from Rui as well. So there's certainly some different opinions out there, and I'm happy to get some different opinions on this chat around a lot of those points. For me, though, I really put it down to the fact that we've conceded at least three goals, which you shouldn't have conceded. And I think the formation is almost irrelevant, in my opinion, when I look at these goals conceded and go, doesn't care what formation we had, that is just poor defending. I mean, the first goal was a back pass to Dragowski, and he just absolutely stuffed that up. And we conceded a goal without even 60 seconds played. And it wasn't like he was a terrible, terrible back pass where he was scrambling. He had time to control the ball, but he just took his time to clear it. So again, I don't think that you can blame anyone else other than the keeper for that massive mistake, and we're already 1-0 behind. Then I look at goal number two, which is Jaquinho nutmegged Aral, and our defense was really nowhere to then cover that. And that again, just poor defending, full stop. The third goal, which was a Rodney cross in, and Yaremchuk got that header off his shoulder, obviously. I mean, he was had two players right next to him, being Aral and Yedvai, and yet he wasn't like a header that was severely challenged. He was almost unchallenged, even had two players around him. So, and then even the fourth goal as well was a free kick, cross in, header, goal. So that to me, you can. I think that if you look at a championship team and look at some of the teams of years gone by, which we have had good teams, it was all underpinned by a very solid defence. And it's clear, I mean, cut 4 goals, that is an understatement. But we've seen this trend now for a while in the last few games, whether it's Europe or in Greece, where you're conceding goals far, far too easily. And I don't think it's a formation issue primarily. I'm happy to hear a different view from you, Sturge. I think that it's psychological, it's a mentality, and it seems to be that the confidence for the backline, at the very least, is leading to this. Now, again, I think the coach has to wear some of that blame, and I think Rui's no exception here. But I don't. It doesn't matter how well the midfield played, which is a question mark in this case, or how well our forwards played, which is another question mark. The reality is, you concede that many goals, you're not going to win. If we conceded half of those goals, we still didn't win with what we scored. So certainly, I think there's a fair bit of discussion to have around formation, and welcome your thoughts, Sturge. But for me, it rests on individual errors is what cost us dearly once again.
Yeah, yeah. Defensively, you can't really say it was the formation. 100% agree. And we do have Nick that's just joined us. So we've just started talking about the Olympiacos game. So yeah, defensively, you can't say the formation was at fault. Um, the squad pick though was a bit um eye-raising. You got Aral, who's been fairly average. You know, he hasn't been that good, and he was at fault at one of the goals. The formation for me was evident that when we were attacking, it wasn't good. You knew the main outlets. It was like a 3-5-2, 3-4-3 with a number 10 as that that third attacker in Unai, where you were almost relying on Mladenovic and Vayanidis to do all the attacking because you're not going to get that output from Siopis, and Seren wasn't providing anything like that. It just looked like there was no synergy in between Unahi, Seren, Siopis. A lot of the work was being made by Vayanidis and by um by Mladenovic. And you had the two up front. We've seen them work together. Yeah, we've seen also that our wing backs look most dangerous when they've got wingers. So we know the synergy between Vayanidis and Tete, and we've seen it with Mladenovic and Jurisic, and we've seen it with Pelistri as well. That they do their best work when they're overlapping, making those runs, overlapping, creating a lot of space and creating the extra man. We did look ordinary when we did have the ball. The game was, Olympiacos took their chances. You can't really say they dominated the chances, anything like that. I think we were unlucky not to have one of their players sent off early in the game for the high foot challenge on Yedvay. That was at his knees, studs up, and it's baffling that VAR didn't even review it. That, how couldn't VAR review that? It's a high foot studs to the knee. That's red card. it's an easy decision. It didn't even get referred to VAR, which was strange. Performance-wise, yeah, Aral, average. Shopis does what Shopis does, runs around. But when you've got Chera next to you, I don't really think you're going to see the best of the midfield. It was strange not to see Maximovic there. Um, and even so, there was not many chances that Foti and Swideski really had. There was I think the only one notable one was when Vainidis played Fortis inside the box and he had to cut into his left foot and then his left foot shot got blocked. That was one of the, you know, one of the standout like opportunities that we did have. Um, Not much was else was going forward. Nick, how did you see the game?
One big shit show. Um, Look, we expected it more or less. I think deep down, most of us expected a drubbing, and that's essentially what we got. We got our backsides handed to us. When was the last time we copped four against these guys? And we used to beat them for fun. Or yeah, not that long ago. As you said, I only came on about midway through there where you were talking, but I think your best point was with regards to the lineup was Siopis does what he does, yes, tick. But and then this is something a lot of us, myself included, I never thought Siopis and Maximovic would work initially, but it's proven that they can work. And Maximovic has to be one of the first names on the team sheet, especially in a fixture like this one. The two up front can work. Obviously this wasn't the game for it. And it's crazy to think that you start this game with no wingers, and we spent over 10 million euro on wingers in the summer. Um, we played like a team that's already on the beach. We know our season's over, unfortunately. Even though these guys do have something to play for in that second spot, they don't look like a team fighting for anything, unfortunately. I just hope Rui stays. I'm sure we're going to talk about that a bit later on. I really hope Rui stays no matter what happens in the next 5 games. Um, gift of a goal straight off the bat. Aral later on, another gift. And you think about, you've had 2-3 weeks off. With the international break, you'd want to be hungry, being a derby as well. And at least if you don't start fast, keep the back door shut. And we couldn't even do that. We got what we deserved.
Yeah, the plan unraveled after 1 minute. Just you're right in that. Just really unraveled after 1 minute. You're already.
Then I guess, have you guys spoken about Foti? I'm not sure.
No, we haven't. We haven't. We just
I've
really
just
just
touched on his
fun.
red card. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure though. If you say when you say Nick, we got what we deserved. I don't think we deserved cop four. And I think, and I go back to your point that really, they made good out of every chance they've got, and essentially that's unfortunately what's happened here. We gifted them four golden opportunities, which normally most teams wouldn't give up, and they scored of it. But I don't think they deserve to score four.
That's what I'm
And
saying. When you give gifts, you deserve to get your backside handed to you.
yeah, in that sense, yes, you're right. At the same time, we had Zvidersky hit the post as well. I thought it was a great chance.
Save onto the post. Yeah. That was
Yeah, I
another
mean,
chance. Yeah.
he did well to control the ball, bring it down, and get a shot. And is the keeper's save that pushed it onto the post. So, you talk about luck. Then on the flip side, we had what was
Yeah.
a half chance converted into a golden opportunity, and the luck went their way.
But that's the thing with them. They're not a lot. Some people might think they're this great swashbuckling attacking force. Then there's nothing fancy about them. What they do, they just press. They get in your face. High octane, high energy. They are the best team in Greece this season, and I do think the rest of the three are miles behind. But they're nothing special.
No, it's just that we're ordinary.
Yeah, they do the basics well, and yeah, and exactly we're worse than ordinary.
You make a good point. I think both of you make a good point about Maximovic not playing and being a good pairing, surprisingly, with Sioppi, and I think that was quite well exposed today. Well, not today, but in terms of the game itself. Yeah, I think we would have benefited greatly if he was on the pitch. Maybe the international games he played sort of made him tired, or he had a bit of a niggle. It's hard to say.
I had a glimmer of hope. I did say I expected a heavy loss, but I had a small glimmer of hope, thinking like Sedin scored an extra time winner on international duty. Maksimovic scored a big goal on international duty. Zviderski brace, Vajanivis assist. I thought maybe, just maybe, they could bring that back to club level, but clearly not.
No,
No. And with that, and the other result from the
but again, we've scored 2 goals over
yeah,
there. Could have been 3.
That's the
On
whole
the flip
problem
side, conceded
with us.
4, and those.
I know our attack has copped a lot of stick this season. For me, it's the defense. If you know the Foti, which we're going to get onto, is Widerski. No matter who starts up top, they know the pressure's on because we can't keep the back door shut. This defense is suspect to howlers. That's the number one priority for me in the off season, fixing that.
I'm happy to kick things off on Foti, if unless you got further comments about the game, Nick.
No, no.
No. Look, there's been obviously a lot of criticism about him, and I know the club's come out in social media in the last hour or so, Sturge,
Mm,
yeah, in the last hour or
yeah,
so.
yeah.
supporting him as a captain. And for once, the club, I think, has done something right in that sense by backing their captain. And I don't think that he should be the focus of criticism in terms of the result. I mean, he did score, right? There was a penalty, but he scored. So he did his duty in that sense. But yeah, you can't say that he was a key factor for that result. Could he be more effective in his role? Yes, but there's far worse players on the pitch than him, is my view. And I don't think he deserves undue criticism for that red card either. It was a tackle that probably saved us from another goal, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, there seems to be a divided fan base. You're getting split opinions, mixed opinions on Forty. Obviously, I'm backing him 100%. A, he's the club captain. B, last season he pretty much carried the team, and then he's come off a pretty bad off season. Injuries, being rushed, Alonso injury. Yeah, we leaned on him heavily for Lens. He carried us, got that vital away goal to set up the Athens game. We haven't seen his best this season. I don't think last season was a one-off either. I think this season we've had Alonso, we've had Rui Vittoria, so we've had changes in coaches, we've had changes in systems. He's just obviously going through quite a bit himself in terms of taking on the leadership role, which was given to him. I don't know if he asked for it, anything like that. It is probably hasn't been the captain material that and it's been discussed. So I don't want to really go down that path. Um, but what we saw though was against the Governey that he wore his heart on his sleeve. As soon as he got sent off, as you can see in the picture, he just kissed the badge in front of gate 7. So that really puts a lot of the questions, is he a Gavro or something like that? His dad had links to Olympiacos, him being younger, that photo of him younger in the Olympiacos jersey. I think all of that just silences all of that. I think he'll be back. I think a proper off season, just get his body right, mentally, everything like that. Proper coach, proper off season, then he'll be back. There's no need to sell him anything like that, or why didn't we sell him anything like that? Would have been left to Spora and Jeremejeff. If you're leaving transfers up to Papadimitriou and fools to get it right, they're most likely going to get it wrong, as we've seen. So there's no issues with Forte. He's got the full backing, especially from me. Love the guy. We know what he's capable of. We saw that transfer into the Greek national team when he scored against France. We saw that goals against Ireland. So yeah,
I would personally, though, for next year, would want to see someone else become captain. And the key reason for that would be to allow him to concentrate on finding his form and become the best player he can be. Um, and I think that he's probably had a bit of an extra burden put on him by being captain and trying to find form at the same time. And he's still a young player. I still think he hasn't developed the leadership qualities that probably need to be a captain for what is a very difficult club to be a leader at. I think we all would agree on that. So find someone for next year. Maybe it's Siopi, who's got the energy, he's got the experience, he's got the heavy shoulders and can take a bit of the burden of expectation and allow him just to do what he does best.
We have the captain of the national team in our squad. I thought from pre-season it would have been a no-brainer to give the armband to Bakasetas.
Yep, that's a good call.
Yeah. But
I,
now,
I said it back then. I was shocked it didn't happen.
yeah,
Yep.
I definitely agree with you there. Now, the issue giving it to Bakasetas for next season is
He's not going to be a
how,
starter.
not only that, how long does he left at our club before
Hmm.
if he moves on? So, you can't just also give the captain's armband to a player that one year. There's people saying Mladenovic has shown leadership attributes, but there's obviously question
The
marks
three Serbs have.
because he's 34. He was coming into the season as being the backup left back option. He wasn't for Max's poor form, poor injuries. Also last year he was back up to Juanca, and I assume next year we're going to sign a new left back and be back up then. So obviously, Mladenovic, you need obviously he's shown those characteristics, but it's there's a lot of things going against him being captain. You want someone like that, durability, everything like that. So
With
yeah,
Foti, it does appear to be very divided, eh? I'm probably 50-50. A bit rare. Not so much sitting on the fence. I mean, a lot of the personal attacks he's copying is over the top, but as fans, we are allowed to criticize, and this season he has been below par. Some of it's self-inflicted, mostly not, though. It's what you said, Sturge. If he can get a full preseason under his belt with good coaching, uninterrupted, injury-free, and the armband taken away from him, I'm pretty confident as well he's going to return to the player he was last season, and we'll be talking 30 million plus again for it. This off-season is pivotal, though.
Yep, agree.
yeah. We'll move on to the next subject. So, in the other result, Bulk came from 2 goals down to beat Ike away 3-2. Now, what that does to the table is that Olympiacos is 10 points clear on 63. Ike is on 53. We are on 50. And Bulk has narrowed the gap to 49. We play Ike at home and Olympiacos travel to Bulk away. Now, it's interesting because we have Ike at home, and with that, Ike play Olympiacos in the cup in a meaningless second round game. So I don't even know how either of those two sides realistically are gonna line up. Like it's a dead rubber. It finished what 6-0 the first leg. So what kind of lineup do you field? Do you have enough to field like a B squad so you can just focus for the league? Because Olympiacos can effectively win it from this weekend, the
Yeah.
league, depending on the results.
Yep, yep.
If we win and
If
they
we
win,
beat AEK and they beat Olympiacos,
they've won it.
they've sealed the title.
Yep.
With 4 games to spare.
So it's interesting to see how that lines up. And obviously, from our perspective, like Olympiacos has already won the title. It's just a matter of where they lift with the title. But and we hate to say this, but we're relying on Olympiacos to win all their games. So we need them
Unfortunately,
to
you're right.
beat, yeah, we need them to beat AEK twice. We need them to beat Olympiacos twice now. That's for any glimmer of hope for us to get that second, or even just hold on to that third place, depending on what happens in the Greek Cup final as well. So we've discussed, the ramifications of the Greek Cup final as well. So
Mm, yeah.
it's vital that we need, and we're relying on Olympiacos, which is not in, not in a good place to
That
be.
that Ike Bulk game before our one on the weekend was wild. Interesting to see what sort of effect it has on both sides. That could really galvanise Bulk one last push for second, and it could completely demoralise Ike, who we have up next at home.
I think I are already demoralized.
Yeah,
They've got
they
into
could
a
be
really rough patch.
psychologically, they could be even worse than us. You
Yeah,
think of the horror season we've had, they've had it exactly the same with big name marquee signings, big
well,
spending, a lot of false dawn, stop start. They've also had the embarrassing European exit,
they had
very early doors
yeah,
that we didn't have.
they didn't even qualify for the Conference League
They could be
stage.
even more worse off than us.
And then
So
they're sitting second, and they're 3 points clear of us, and there's more turmoil at that club. And we previously had Almeida said that he wanted to leave. Now the fans are revolting against the ownership. They haven't been the same since, I believe it all started at that 6-0. Really, the first leg of
Yeah,
the cup. That's when it just went all downhill. The results have not been positive for them either.
if we had lost, was it 6-0 or 5-0? I can't remember now.
six, six,
Um,
six.
six, wasn't?
Yeah,
If we lost by that amount, oh, that Alapuzo would be able to walk the streets.
No,
So I can
no.
understand why they're so upset at now Philadelphia.
Yeah, but I
but
think there's an opportunity to beat a wounded ache at the
there is.
moment.
There is, but how much do these guys want it? Because I didn't see much want against Olympiacos. You're right. For a half hungry team, there's a massive opportunity. It's on us. It's on us. It's on how much we want it.
Yeah, I agree.
And something else, I know it's not going to mean much because Oaxaca is going to be very, very empty. We have not won an away game in 2025. That Bansarai game destroyed us. Ever since then, we've been a mess.
Yep, and that's when we've seen Dragowski being super erratic,
And
and
Dragowski too.
he's been
Yeah,
inconsistent and erratic against Fiorentina. Even though we lost 3-1, he played very
yeah.
well. He saved it from being 5-6-1, but he's just having his moments where or you can almost say you can't really trust him now.
You can't. No, and I was a big fan up until recently. Oh, we never used to see this from him.
No,
There's been talk of Vlachodimos. I'd have Vlachodimos in a heartbeat starting.
but yeah, there's obviously going to be questions now about Dragowski. There's multiple errors now that he's done very recent.
It's not one or two anymore.
And I think that's probably one of the reasons why he was sold from Spezia. That they had enough of him in terms of his unreliability, if I recall correctly. So he's got the look at his best. He's a fantastic keeper, but there's a reason why he's playing for us, and I think it's that he was inconsistent.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, Spezia was Serie B, weren't they? And they
yeah,
were on the
they
verge.
are fighting relegation in Serie B.
Yeah. So for someone of his caliber to be on at a team like that, a club that in that situation, to not be wanted, that does say something, doesn't it? I know as fans we ignore that when we make a signing, but the reality is it does say something.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why if you remember, like over a year ago, I was pretty critical when we signed him. Now, obviously, he's been very good since, but it's just these last 2.5 months that he's just really, really questionable.
I do remind both of you boys, and I'm sure you would agree with me when I say this, that yeah, our former keeper, Brignoli, if watching the highlights for the AEK Bulk game, he was not much chop either.
No, worse, much worse. And that's what I was actually gonna talk about that. Unfortunately, I can't see him starting against us. I was gonna get to that.
I'd be more than happy to see that happen.
I think they're gonna play him in the cup. Unfortunately,
But yeah, that's the interesting. So against Ike, we won't have Foti, obviously due to the red card, but you know, Swideski will get the start, and yeah, obviously we can only see what that's going to serve up. So I don't even know the local Greek time because of the change of hours, but um, just check your guides in Australia for Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. We go back 1 hour. It is a 4:30 a.m. game. Everywhere else, time zones, please, just a change of hours from our end. Um, so yeah, obviously, yeah, after Ike, we do host Bulk at home. Then we've got a week off due to
yeah,
Easter, and then we go to Thessaloniki. So we know every game's important. There's five to go. Every game counts. Or the between second and fourth, it's all up for grabs. Bulk Bulk can very easily get that second spot. Their players are starting to hit form. We saw Costandelias hitting form for Greece over the second game. Yeah, the first leg he was very ordinary, but that second game he caught fire and he transferred that form for Bulk on the weekend as well. So if he remains hot, Bulk are going to be a very dangerous team in this playoff.
He
yeah,
scored a cracking goal for Bark as well in that game against AEK. That was an absolute class goal. The way he brought that ball down, controlled it, and hit that shot. So it's a scary proposition.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're looking at teams, sorry, Bulk is starting to hit a little bit of form again, while I can Panathinaikos are not.
yeah.
That brings, yep.
It's what you said though. It's a massive opportunity, and I don't know if these guys. It's Unahi. Did you guys see what he said after the game? It took a lone player to talk, to speak up. Do we know what club we're playing at? What a big club we're playing at? The lone player saying that. I mean, it says it all. And there's an opportunity in front of us now to get second. Not that we're going to be partying in the streets and that, but as we've mentioned before, second gives you a shot at qualifying for the Champions League. Sure, we don't look like it right now, but Jovanovic's squad that he took, we were a bee's dick away from qualifying for the group stage back then. We eliminated Marseille, fell at the last hurdle to Braga. You can't tell me that squad was better on paper than this current one. So if we can get our shit together, get second, get our shit together over the off season, and we should in theory get a better draw because we'll be seeded. You never know. It's how motivated, how hungry we are in this game and the next game and the game after that. That's what's going to dictate it.
But the question has to be asked about, and we keep coming back to this, and I don't want to make a huge discussion out of it, but how is management motivating the coach and players? What are they doing? What are they doing to either, at the same time, incentivize
Nothing.
them to fight tooth and
Nothing.
nail? So
We're the only
does come back.
club that the players know they can get away with piss weak efforts. They know nothing's going to happen. They're still going to get paid on time. Whereas you got the other clubs, you got the owners that go to their face and harass them, demanding reactions, responses. Alafuzos doesn't do that. We see it here and there when he finds them. That's about it. But yeah, it's got to start now. We need an upturn ASAP. The other thing is though, more so for the Olympiacos game, Eternal Derby, one of the biggest derbies in world football. Should the owner or coach even have to motivate the players? irrespective of it being a dead rubber.
No, it's a good point. And from what I heard, there was a few scouts
Yeah,
at the game. So the players had every reason to want to make an impression.
yeah,
Although certain players know that they're not going to have a long career ahead of them. Like someone like an Nadal, he's not there to
yeah.
sort of play for a better club or a bigger league, is he? As an example.
No,
Well, I'm gonna change topic before we get back onto the players now, because it seemed like during the international break, all the fans' Christmases came at once when there was news that Alafuzos would be stepping away from the football side of things, that a CEO will be coming in. Um, a lot of questions about what this CEO, and I can see Panathafan just ready to line up on this one. I'll give it a little bit of
I can't wait.
yeah, just a little intro, a little briefness into like what this role is um, meant to be. So it was said, or it is said that Alafouzos will be stepping away from the football duties and bringing in a CEO, most likely a foreigner, to let them control the football side of things. Now, obviously, the CEO will be still reporting to Alafouzos. He'd be obviously reporting to him, and that CEO would be having a say pretty much on the football side of things, and then obviously Alafouzos signing off. What that means at the moment, nobody knows because A, we don't know if it's going to actually happen, and B, who this CEO is going to be, what they're going to do, what changes they're going to make. Um, the floor's open, boys. Let's go, Panathafan fan, because I know you want.
I'm waiting.
Where does one start? So we're going to get a foreign CEO. That's what we're after, right? We're going to get a foreign CEO who doesn't understand the culture of the Greek league, doesn't understand how the referees work or don't work in the Greek system. They're not going to understand or appreciate. They're going to get Olympiacos and the Pizza Gate and all the controversies and Karapapara and blaming pizzas for certain events, and the list goes on and on. How is a foreign CEO going to understand all that? Foreign CEO is going to come in and he's going to organise the finance team. He's going to organise the marketing team because it's all done prim and proper. Whereas he's from England or Germany or Spain, even where things are done more properly, they've got more of a budget, a better league, etc., etc. Right? So let's say it's an English CEO, and England's renowned for being more orderly, more structured in the way they operate their football clubs. He's going to come to Greece. He's going to come to Panathinaikos. He's going to speak. He's going to speak to the. It says who's in charge of marketing. It's going to be the kid.
The marketing.
The marketing. That's me. What do you do? Me. I go get deliveries. So you don't need a CEO for that. You look at Olympiacos, no? You got Marinaki, who has a fair say in how the club's run, rightly or wrongly, though, but his presence has a positive impact, in my view. It keeps everyone on eggshells. It keeps them motivated, rightly or wrongly. That's how it is. Foreign CEO for me, I'm sorry, but it will take them a good year, if not more, to understand the culture of the Greek league, understand the culture of the club, and more so, they take them time to appreciate how heavy the shirt is of this club. And I don't think we've got that luxury, especially in our league where coaches are sacked every 5 minutes, to give a CEO that time to understand it. And I still question whether he would understand it after a year. So if it's a Greek CEO, I'm more open to it because of all those points. But I question if you're going to get a Greek CEO who would understand the challenge of what they're taking on, who'd want to do it if they're not paid megabucks.
You mentioned about the Condro with them. We have that. We have that guy, albeit in a different sport, unfortunately. Yanakopoulos in the basketball, that keeps them on eggshells, keeps them all honest, demands reactions, responses. Leoforos the other day, the last I had heard is that it's looking like foreigner was their primary target. It's now looking like more and more likely it's going to be a Greek guy instead. So I
Oh,
don't know. They must have tried their luck with foreigners and got nothing. Now they're looking at, but look, Greek or foreigner, even if it's a Greek, it's just going to be a yes man. That's my big worry. The Alafuzos will still be the one pumping the money in, and he's going to have the final say.
I
yeah,
think
because
though
yeah,
Visas will have the. That's what I think Visas has been brought in to do as well, to identify that target. So if it's anything to go by, it's very likely going to be someone, most likely an old boy. It's not going to be, obviously, Karagunis has had the fallout and he's Inter's ambassador or one of their ambassadors. Um, would be a former player is what I'm looking at.
Who would want it? Who in their right mind? They would be demanding mega bucks, as Panathafan was saying. The pressure, the fan base,
There's
the
two
title drought,
names.
it's toxic.
There's two names that I can think of. Basinas and Seitaridis would be, for me, the obvious choices. Um, they in my mind are the obvious choices. Um,
but then there's the other question though. You can maybe get a good CEO, or get someone who could be effective. But what power are they going to have? Would they be
Exactly. He's
able
going to
to?
be a yes man. Exactly.
Yeah, are they going to be given absolute authority without referring to the owner if they want to sack Papa Dimitriou, or do they have to get
well,
permission for it?
well,
Because the minute he has to get permission, that's it. Before the guy starts,
Exactly.
it's ineffective.
I think though. Alafozos will give that power to the CEO to make those decisions. Obviously, the final financial impact will have to be signed off by Fuz, but if the CEO that has been hired to oversee everything says Papa Jim's not the man for this role, I, I can't see Papa Jim staying.
I hope that's
And
the
that's
case.
and that's when it's going to take one of a former player, if it is a former player that moves into that CEO role, to do that because that's going to be the most obvious thing because we know Papadim is not Panathinaikos. He's got no relation to the club. He's just brought in pain. He's just brought in just garbage. He's just brought in incompetence to the role.
So the challenge as well, and I'll give you a different perspective. So, like all of you, and like many people that be listening in on this, you have this dream that if you became a billionaire overnight because of some sort of magical situation, you want to buy the club.
Yeah.
So if I bought that club and I was 100% owner, no other shareholders in the background, then me being overseas, I couldn't run it day to day or be there day to day for different reasons, obviously. So then the only way it would work is have a CEO. But I myself would want to be getting in there and making certain decisions or throwing crap at people if I'm not happy or vice versa, rewarding them for doing a good job. And that potentially then undermines the CEO's role. It's not easy as an owner that for a club that supposedly you love to be able to then sit back and let it unfold and really only have input in board meetings. So there's that fine balance. And I think that even for someone like myself, not that I would ever be in that situation, but if, in a dream world it was, it wouldn't be easy for me to sit back and let a CEO make all those decisions. So that's the challenge that whether it's Alafuzo or whether it's anyone else who owns the club, that's the challenge they face. How much control do they give up?
I think they're going to give up. Well, Buzos is just going to give up the football decision making stuff because obviously we know he's not the greatest football mind. It's a fact. So, and I think he's slowly starting to understand that. So by bringing in a football person with the football CEO, that person can be better judged to make better footballing decisions.
And I hope that's the case. And I'm not defending Foos, but I think it is a difficult situation to find that right balance.
Mm.
And it comes down also to how much freedom does that CEO want? Because I think we've all worked with and been exposed to different CEOs throughout workplaces and businesses we've been part of, and some CEOs are happy to be the yes man, as opposed to others who really want to leave their stamp and make a mark. So there's a few factors at play here, and I think that there's certainly plenty of potential downside if we get this wrong. But one would say then, is it going to be much worse than the situation we're in? Probably not.
Yeah, yeah. Look, yeah, and it's not just Alafouzos. We know Vardino Yanis is behind this as well,
Exactly. Exactly. That was gonna, yeah,
and it was
exactly
more,
what I was gonna say.
and it
There's
was
another
very
layer.
evident. It was very evident at the security expo, which Vardino Yanis was a sponsor and Panathinaikos was a sponsor. Why would Panathinaikos sponsor a security expo in Greece when Vardino Yanis has also sponsored it? You can connect the dots. So obviously that family still has a stranglehold on the club through Fuzo. So
That's what's gonna happen when the time comes, because Alafouzos isn't young. Eventually, one day he's gonna step away. The problem is that clan, the Vardinoyanis clan, is still there. They'll pick off another yes man, the next fall guy, to cop all the abuse on their behalf.
yeah, let's take it back now to the player front because we talked about Unahi. Let's talk first Unahi. The club unofficially said, and it was reported in the media that they will not be looking to meet the clause. Um, they said that obviously they're going to look elsewhere. So I think the comments were made that the production was didn't justify the price tag that he did. It's kind of something what I leaned into in terms of goals, stats, everything. Lately, he's starting to lift, playing a little bit better, but um, I think 11, 12 million that Marseille off wanting the price tag. I think we do need to look elsewhere. So that was one piece of news. In the last 24 hours, there's talks of Mladenovic getting a 1 year contract extension. I think it's well deserved. I'll be honest, I haven't been one of his biggest fans at all. He's been very durable as a left back. He was meant to come in as the backup left back, but he's made that role his because of how inept Max has been. So Mladenovic made the starting role this year his, and he's been rewarded with will be rewarded with a 1 year contract for everything by like what the news is going by. And also there's talks that Max will depart as well. The club at the end of the year, they'll be moving him on, which I don't think is any shock to anyone, given that he's the highest paid left back in Greece and he can't keep fit and he can't play. Those are the facts. He probably, I don't think he was a slouch on
But
the
the
ball.
materials,
Do apologize. I believe there's just internet instability there. Just pause it. Sorry about the minor pause. It was just internet instability, but I was just talking about Max. I don't think he's a slouch player. He did get capped by Germany. He's played top division in Dutch league and German league, but obviously him coming to us in fitness, the condition he's been, it just wasn't a good match. So from all accounts, he will be moved on. Also, it was said that Aral will not be renewed. I think that's kind of expected. His form this season has just gotten worse and worse. It was said that, or it is said that Santos from Brazil will be looking to sign him. I think he seems a bit upset by it, but and unlike Bernard was like on fire, Arau has just been since that news has just gone even more downhill. While it spurred Bernard on to just try and win something, Arau has had no fight in him, which has been disappointing because the Arau that we saw, especially last season, he was a killer. He was lunging into everything, going physical. He was always up for it. This season is just a different player. Um, those are the player news for now. Did you guys?
There's Vayanidis, sporting thing,
There was rumors.
rumor. We're not
Oh,
going to accept that 6 million plus two. We're not going. That's not going to be
yeah.
accepted.
There's also Monaco as well. There's talks Monaco, Fulham. So that's obviously one to, and Ajax obviously in the leading up to the international break as well was keeping tabs. So obviously that's one to that'll be a sum over the summer news. We'll want to
The question with Vayanidis is, especially if we're forced to sell PSR wise, what sort of fee would we want? As if you were in Papa Dimitriou's shoes, what sort of fee would you be pushing for?
10.
Yeah, I'd be going. I'd take 10, but I'd start at 15.
I think that Sporting apparently is up their offer to 8 and 2.
It needs to be 10 minimum.
Yeah, yeah, I'd
Oh
say
yeah,
10.
yeah.
Because
I'd start higher.
I think from now on he'll be the starting right back for the Greek national team as well. So that's gonna add his more value to him.
Agree.
If he does go, it's going to be a nightmare trying to replace him.
It was a nightmare when we lose one of our better players.
In Greek and academy
Yeah,
Don't
to
forget
top it
we
off.
don't forget we had Bulldog at the start of the season as well. Unfortunately, we lost
Yeah,
him. So
yeah.
that's two quality right backs gone.
and we know Kortiras just isn't up to it anymore.
No.
Whether if he retires early or he's just going to see out next year as his contract or we decide to move him on, that's obviously one to keep an eye out on as well.
But it's interesting that you know here we are with what 5 games left, and Mladenovic, like he hasn't been our best left back that we've had, but somehow he's made it to this point and he's still contributing. So obviously we can't be in that situation next year. But on the right back side, I think we've been quite fortunate in that Fayanidis found good form as well.
Yeah.
Well, just remember, it wasn't that long ago he was cut by Papa Dimitriou.
Yeah, over the contract, which he botched himself.
Exactly. Exactly.
A great CEO probably seeing what the caliber of the back office management team and thinking, I'm gonna have these guys as employees. I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying. Who'd want the job? The CEO job. We're like the Man United. We're like the Man United or probably Arsenal. We're like the Arsenal of Greece. We come close a couple of times here and there. Long fucking growing trophy drought or title drought. Fans demanding success. We're going around in circles chasing our tails.
Yep.
That's with the football news. We'll change now pace and we'll go to the basketball. Mixed results. Uh, we played last week Maccabi Tel Aviv on the road. We beat them 92 to 99 in a 22-point turnaround. So, in the fourth quarter, we're down by 15 or so, and then just rallied, came back and finished absolutely strong. Um, that was a great win. That one, watching Nunn on fire. Lorenzo Brown had decent. game. Juancho was hitting big shots when needed as well. Gabriel's hustle. And then a few days later at home in a what was probably we expected it to win, especially seeking revenge against Paris. We did go down 101 to 98. Similar theme. So obviously, Slukas and Nunn had good games. A few of the other boys didn't really live up to, to match it. We conceded 101 points. We scored obviously 98, which is pretty high for a Euro game, but we allowed Paris to hit so many threes. Now, the issue with both games is that we start off very slow. In the fourth quarter, we're giving too much points to catch up. We caught up against Maccabi in the fourth quarter. It was against Paris 29-15, and we still lost by three. So we're giving up too many points to finish too strong like that. It's just something that's got to be controlled in terms of starting the game off much better. Paris scored 33 to 20 to our 23 in the first quarter. So obviously you're already putting yourself in a bit of a hole there. The game's not over at that point, but then third quarter, so you get your break, come out again 30 to 21. We lose that third quarter. So we're in a huge hole. It was a bit reversal in the Maccabi game where we started off better, but the second and third quarter were, just went down big. And thank God for that fourth quarter rally that we actually went up. But it seems like we're just giving teams too much of a big lead coming into that fourth quarter when we come really strong. If Yeah, there's two games left to go in the Euroleague. We've got difficult games, both games. We've got Monaco away, and then we got Red Star at home. And if you look at the ladder in the EuroLeague, we're sitting on third. Olympiacos have dropped to second. Monaco is equal points with us, but we've got the better for and against. We sitting in fourth. Bayern Munich are one game behind us. If we lose, we will be fourth. Bayern Munich have -4. We're sitting on 135 differential, so I don't expect us to, both teams to have that much of a big swing for us to drop to fifth, but it does put us in trouble because Red Star are sitting ninth, but they're two games behind us. So if we lose against Monaco and Red Star win, we're only sitting one game ahead of Red Star, who is sitting at ninth at the moment. That's how close it is. Between 10th, where Paris is sitting, and third, it's two games. And there's two games to go.
And
So
we play Red Star in the final game.
final game in Athens. So
We do. I think we do match up, or have matched up well against Monaco in the recent past, and at the same time,
we
we
did
struggled.
lose in Athens the last time we played them.
Did we?
Yeah, that was
Did,
Spanulis's debut as coach, and he got the better of us
but we beat them over there though, didn't we?
last season. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was on
So
I think it was the Grigonis 3-point on the buzzer. But
that's
yeah,
right.
they beat us 99-81 this season.
So yeah, okay. I wasn't. It escaped my memory that we lost that game at home this season. So
Yeah, it was
I'll
Spanulis's debut for Monaco.
I'll take that back in terms of what I was about to say, because we do match up poorly against Paris because we got beat quite convincingly at the start of the season against them. So a bit of a bogey team. I think Maccabi's always given us a good
Yeah.
test away. So I was sort of hoping that it's the matchups that it's costing us, but you're right that it's the slow start that's really given us no ability to have down moments, and we've got to have to rally in the last quarter, which can only work so many times, right? But we we're still struggling in terms of missing key players, and I think Gabriel's done well considering he is there as a stopgap. So I can't criticize him, but last year we had Lesor absolutely firing. We're not even close to that this year.
Yeah, though there's talks that Lissaw will be ready by playoff time, and we're almost in playoff time.
Yeah, look, hope so. I can't say that I'm overly optimistic.
Yeah,
Such a serious injury. No one allowed for him to be back this season, that's for sure.
yeah. So, yeah, the EuroLeague is very, very interesting at the moment. But it's almost catastrophic at this point, if especially if we lose both games. So, I believe the Red Star game's already sold out the tickets. So,
Yeah,
uh,
great game though. The
yeah,
atmosphere would be
yeah, yeah.
absolutely
He's obviously,
electric.
yeah, obviously arrived big.
And I'd back us in terms of being able to beat Red Star.
Yeah, they're historically big rival due to their links with Olympiacos. So, yeah, very interesting game. That's it from the basketball side. Do you gents have anything news related? Anything you guys want to finish up with? Anything that you've come across? Anything that you've seen or we may
I
have missed?
thought I'd just Yeah, I'll start with discussion on Rui because I haven't really covered that because there's more debate as to whether he's going to stay or go. Um, obviously from a footballing side, I've got him in my background picture because I've got the strong desire to see him stay into the new season and do a full preseason and have a strong say in what the squad looks like for next year. I know Nick, you said that as well that you'd be keen to see him stay. And look, I think he's not perfect. He's made mistakes, although for a while there he had a very good run and it seemed like he adapted pretty quick. But what I think this club needs right now more than anything is a coach that understands what our needs are, where our weaknesses are, and given a full pre-season to address it with transfers and with a pre-season that's designed to meet his needs as well. So I think it's as much that as it is as to whether Rui is the right person or not.
Yeah.
He goes, it's like we're back to square one. We're starting on -10 compared to the rest. Also, financially, another hit. We got to pay out another coach as well. Yeah, no, definitely has to stay.
I think a lot is going to come to depending if we finish third or fourth. That's my gut feeling with Victoria. My
And I
preference,
think
I did say in the last pod that we need him to stay just for the continuity, the just build the squad up, his vision, the way he wants it. You get obviously consistency, you get the preseason. We're not chasing Sari, that whole debacle again. We've got the coach, we move on. If, for instance, he's gone, we obviously can't afford to do another Sari sort of thing.
let's let's see. I mean, I don't have faith that we're going to stand by him because our track record in the past has shown that we don't stand by coaches at this time of year, and there's a bit of a theme of if things all turning to crap with a few games to go in the season. So I fear the worst, but I'm sort of hoping that we just stick fat.
All right, boys. I think we can end it there unless anyone else wants to add anything.
Just let's hope the basketball team can give us something to cheer about come May and June.
Yeah,
It's
get
all on them again
get
to
that
give us some joy.
paper. Yeah, yeah. I think the football side has just really sucked the joy out of us, but yeah, it's the life of the Panathinaikos fan that we've known the last 20 odd years. That the good moments in the footballing side are Far too few.
What is it now? 15 years without a Panathafan, 2 in 29 years.
Yeah, not good enough.
No.
All right, gents, pleasure, like always. Meti Nikki, obviously against Ike, and we will. Oh, we won't be on for a while, until the end of the month, especially with. Oh no, next week. Next week. Okay. All right. Until then, thank you all for listening. If we don't speak until then, happy Easter. But yeah, go Panathinaikos.